22-17 as Cleveland takes it over the Philadelphia Eagles. 22-17, but think about this, folks. It could have been 17, should have been 17-13 Eagles or greater, depending on what the Birds would have done on those scores had they gotten a score. Certainly on the Wentz pick six, they were going down the field. On the safety, maybe not. But just to quote or paraphrase one of our friends here at NBC Sports Philadelphia, Dan Roach, our producer, longtime producer, tweeted this, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, it's not about how we can get back to 2017 anymore. It's how the hell did 2017 ever happen?
Right.
That's the question, isn't it? Barrett Brooks, Ray Didinger, Seth Joyner here. That is the question of the hour, really.
Absolutely.
And thank goodness, thank our lucky stars, we got to see that season. Thank goodness we got to see a Super Bowl appearance and a Super Bowl win and a parade. It was all great. But I'm looking at the head coach, Doug Pederson, and the quarterback, Carson Wentz, who obviously did not play in the latter part of that season and the playoffs and the Super Bowl, but who got them there and was an MVP candidate. I don't get it. I think we were talking about it. I think I'm off the Carson Wentz bandwagon, and I really thought eventually that he was going to get back to some semblance of his prior self, and we see none of that. He is not an elite quarterback. He's not a very good or a good quarterback. He's not an average quarterback. He is a below-average quarterback, and that's just the facts. You can look at him. He doesn't pass the eye test, and he doesn't pass the stats test either. 21 of 35, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, countless fumbles, and a passer rating of 75.3. It's not good enough for an NFL quarterback who expects to lead his team to the playoffs, let alone another Super Bowl championship. It is a struggle every single day, and the head coach makes it even more difficult. And as Ray Didinger and I were discussing watching the game, there's never a play where the head coach can isolate a guy and get the guy open based upon the play call. He can run the ball. When he runs the ball, they did pretty darn good. I think we'd all agree. You look at Sanders, 16 carries for 66 yards. And then magically it goes away. And then we never see it again when they need it most. Barrett Brooks, give us your thoughts to start. We'll go to Ray, we'll go to Seth, and we might be here till dawn talking about this game.
I didn't do it to myself today.
They're still in first place. Let me just remind you, they're the first place Philadelphia Eagles.
I totally understand that. I totally understand they're still in first base. But, I didn't do it to myself. I didn't get emotionally involved and invested like I usually do during the game. Usually I'm all for it. I'm either, pulling my hair out. I used to have an afro earlier this season. But look at me now.
You're handsome.
All I'm going to say is this. I can't believe in Carson Wentz being an elite quarterback because at this point, walks like a cat, licks his fur and cleans himself like a cat, meows like a cat. He goes to a litter box. He's a cat. Mm-hmm. This is who he is. He doesn't complete on third down. He hasn't been that type of quarterback since 2017, and I can't go back to that anymore. There's no longer a sense that I say that he can be a top 10 quarterback. No, he's a below-average quarterback that's playing that way. Now, we can dispute all day and twice on Sunday that he could have did this, could have, would have did. That's all gone now. We're talking about a guy that's not playing up to the abilities that we think that he should have. Not that he's done before, but what we think he should have right now. I'm no longer a guy that says, hey, he can play at the elite level. I get it all the time. I can go in my inboxes right now. Hold on. Hello, hi, Roseman? No, I can't come in right now. I'm not in shape, bro. No, I can't do it.
You might be able to help him.
I can't. No. I know 3 sacks on the left side. I understand that. No, I can't do that. I want to embarrass myself. No.
3 sacks on the
left. No, but I'm just saying, no. They're not good at any point this time. I mean, the defense tried to hang in there. They tried their best. They tried. But you're not getting help from the other side. When you're elite, when your quarterback is not playing up to his capabilities, there's no way the season can go forward and think you're going to do anything but what you saw today.
Ray Didinger, copious notes as usual. Every moment of the game is chronicled on the legal pad. What sticks out most to you about how poorly they played? Or really how poorly the offense played? Because you look at, again, 22-17 score, and you take off the 9. I know you can't take off the 9, but you take off the 9 because Wentz gave him those 9 points, and it's a completely different deal. And you say, you know what? The defense held its own. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you have to say that the defense gave you every opportunity to get back into this game. The defense played really well. I mean, for the first half of the game, and we did the halftime hit. We talked about the yardage totals for Chubb and Hunt. I mean, they had them. I think it was like 17 carries and 22 yards, something like that. I mean, they weren't even making 2 yards a carry. So the defense had done everything you could have possibly asked them to do in the first half to keep you in the game. The offense was completely hapless, and it remains so. And, certain things recur here. I mean, 3 more turnovers, really poor play, bad accuracy on the part of the quarterback. Didn't like the play calling by the coach. I thought at the start of the game, we were kind of seeing this team adopting a different strategy in this game, in that I thought they were going to come out. And on the first drive, they certainly ran the ball like crazy. They drove it right down the field. And then Sanders fumbles down inside the red zone, and you lose that opportunity. But I think what that drive displayed to you was that if you really wanted to run the ball against this team, you could have. They could have had some success, but inevitably, Doug gets away from all that. And then you put it back in the hands of the quarterback, and then your play calling doesn't allow the quarterback to do what he does well. To me, if you look at Wentz and you look at Mayfield right now at this point in their career, they're very similar type of guys. Mayfield is no world beater either himself, but the way their offense works, it makes him look better than he is, frankly. They stick with their running game, and they run the pass game off of their running game, which means that Mayfield, almost everything he does is a play-action pass. A lot of it is a fake handoff, and he rolls outside where he's comfortable. And they build their passing game, and they allow their quarterback to play to the strengths of his own game. Whereas it seems to me that with the Eagles, they don't do that nearly enough with Wentz. Look, Wentz, and I'm not trying to absolve Wentz or say that he's the victim here, because he's guilty of his own poor play. But I would say that I think that the way the offense is structured right now and the way Doug is calling the plays, keeping him in the pocket as much as he does, and not letting him get outside. If you put these two offenses side by side, you can see the Browns are doing everything they can to make their quarterback look good. And the Eagles right now aren't necessarily doing that with Wentz. Now, a lot of the stuff he's doing, it's on him. I understand that. But I think the play calling doesn't help. And the one thing that I've just kept coming back to looking at the Eagles to this point this year offensively is they don't have an identity. There's nothing you can say, this is what they are. This is what they're good at. This is what they can do.
Exactly.
We kind of have this, and this works, and if all else fails, we can kind of go to this. And then we can build the rest of the offense off of that foundation. You saw it with the Browns today. In the first half of this game, they are a running team. They are a pure, solid, we're coming right at you running team. And in the first half, they couldn't run it at all, but they didn't get away from it. In the second half, they kept pounding it because they knew everything they were going to do in the passing game had to come off the run anyway. So that's their identity. And they're not a great team right now, but they know what they are. And they know what they have to do from week to week to try and stay in games and ultimately win games. The Eagles right now, here we are, Thanksgiving week, and the Eagles still haven't figured out what they are or even what they want to be. And when you have a team that's floundering around like that, that's when you get games like this. That's when you get seasons like this, when you get in the hole, you can't convert third downs, you start forcing plays, trying to make things happen, and you make up mistakes and you get yourself beat. That's kind of it. You have one. I don't think the Browns are a great team, but the Browns at least know what they want to be, and they have a plan and they execute it. And good for them. They're 7-3 right now. Mm-hmm. The Eagles, to me, don't seem to have any plan. They don't seem to have any clue. They don't know what they want to do. And as a result, oh, whoopee. They're in first place in this awful division. Let's have a party. Okay, if I hear one more time that they're still in first place, I think my head is going to explode, okay? I'm so past for being in first place in this division. Folks, it don't matter, okay? Okay? When you're as bad as this team is right now, and you're as inept as this team is offensively, don't tell me you're in first place. You're in trouble.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll still try to play the optimist, and they're 3-6-1 right now.
Oh, Mike, I'm going to throw something at you.
I don't want to have the head explode yet. Not yet. Wait till after the show. But Seattle.
Don't make me come over there.
Seattle next week, Monday night. Green Bay, New Orleans, Arizona, and that's before Dallas and Washington to close out the season and clinch the division. So it can happen. Seth Joyner, would you please answer this question in the context of your overview, which is, you were the one who noted really with definition and conviction weeks ago that the Philadelphia Eagles had a quarterback problem, and certainly everybody, I would think, is agreeing with you now. Do they also have a head coaching problem, and should the head coach give up the play-calling duties for the benefit of the organization? Go ahead.
Well, I kind of feel like Nostradamus with the whole quarterback thing. As far as Doug is concerned, I think that he should have to give up, play calling, because the play calling isn't working. Carson Wentz isn't working. The play of the players isn't working. I'm going to do something that's been uncharacteristic of me, throughout this whole season today. I'm not going to lay this solely at the feet of the coaches. I'm going to put this loss today squarely on the shoulders of the players. Now, could Doug have called a better game? Yes, but we all know who Doug is, and that is a leopard who is not going to change his stripes. From that standpoint, what I mean is that, last week we got off to a good start running the ball. And we had an opportunity after we started running the ball to implement some of these play action passes, bootlegs, and things to get Carson out of the pocket. We failed to do it. We went to a pass happy type of deal, kept Carson in the pocket. He struggled. They got pressure on him all day long. We've seen a replay of that all over again today. So Doug not taking advantage or having the flexibility in his decision-making to say to himself, you know what, hey, Carson's struggling. What can I do to help him, operate as efficiently as we can? Okay, we're running the ball well. Let's continue to run the ball. Let's have the pass game run through the run game. Let's move him and get him out of the pocket, get him away from the rush, so on and so forth. But he refuses to do it. Okay, that's on the coaching. We can talk about that, all show long. But the point that I want to make, when I looked at this football team today, I watched the football team play a game today that they didn't fight, okay? They did not fight. The offensive line got dominated, and what did I tell you? I told you in pregame, I said, you know what? They haven't had big days. They haven't given up big days in the run to running backs. I said, but for a team who is committed, the way that they've been dominated in the trenches the last couple of weeks, this could turn bad. And you know what? In the second half, they committed themselves to running the ball, and they got beat up on the defensive line. Offensive line got beat up. I seen players not giving the full effort, so dare I say, the conversation is going to go on. Philly's going to, light the team up. It's going to light Doug Pederson up. But dare I say, when you see a team continue to play like this week after week after week after week, you have to ask yourself, has Doug Pederson lost the locker room? Because when you, as a head coach, when you fail to be able to motivate your players to give their best, okay, and it's okay. It's not okay for players to give their best sometimes and not all the time. It's a 60-minute game. Okay, so I'm watching them play this game, and there's times where Carson makes a great throw, but they're far and few between. There's times where they run the ball at will, wherever they want to run it, however they want to, and times where they can't move the ball an inch. On the defensive side, there's times where they're dominant, and other times where they look like they couldn't stop a high school JV football team.
Well,
so
the Nick Chubb run,
is,
Seth, Nick Chubb run, they must have missed 5 tackles on the Chubb run. We were counting them up. 1, 2, there,
And, Michael, I say all the time, tackling is nothing more than attitude, okay? That guy's got the football, and it's a choice. You either want that guy on the ground worse than he wants to be on the ground, or he wants to stay up worse than you want to stay up. And you saw the fight on that play. You saw the fight. You saw the I will not be denied. That run by Kareem Hunt, he saw the end zone, and there was nothing, nowhere, no one was going to stop him from getting in the end zone. I don't see the Eagles play that way. They don't play with that kind of fight. They don't play with that kind of intensity, So when you don't play that way, that's on the coach to get his players motivated. That's on the coach to say, you know what, if you're not getting it done, you're coming out. Tonight, we saw Avonte Maddox get benched, and you move Jalen Mills back to corner. We saw Jason Peters, who is done. He's washed. He's cooked. Okay. We saw him get taken out of the game. Okay. And Jordan Mailata put in the game. Why in the world is Doug so hell-bent on the fact that Carson plays so bad, but he will not put Jalen Hurts in the game? I don't care how minimized of a game plan you want to give him, but you cannot continue to play Carson Wentz in games with him throwing the ball the way that he throws the ball and making the decisions that he makes and missing the receivers that he missed that are open, and you not make that change, okay? Carson Wentz needs to sit down.
Also, why? Perfectly put. And if Barrett and Ray, if you're Howie Roseman and you select Jalen Hurts with what, the 51st overall pick, you didn't select him with your second selection of the draft to have him come in one or two plays and say, "See you later, thanks a lot." I would think that's got to go back and forth between Howie and Doug.
Well, maybe that was a clue on what they saw earlier in Carson. Maybe that's the reason why they picked him up in the second round, as opposed to picking up somebody that could really help the team right now from a performance basis. You're not going to put, Carson in a position where you hurt his feelings, and I think that's the reason why they're not doing it. They don't want to hurt his feelings.
Hurt his feelings?
Hurt his feelings. It's not me. Listen, it's not me. Carson Wentz. I know this. I know this also, but they are not going to give him an opportunity to play. They're not going to do it.
This does not have anything to do with Carson. This has nothing to do with Carson Wentz's feelings, okay? Because if I'm the head coach at the end of the year, guess what? They're going to evaluate me on the job that I did to get my team ready to play.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if I'm the head coach, and I'm on if I'm in Doug's shoes, there's no way in hell I'm gonna let that guy get me fired.
Well,
okay.
Doug feels as though they're tied at the hip, though. That's it. They're tied at the hip. They feel as though where Carson goes, he's going to go. I believe in what you're saying, but I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
You can't do any worse by putting together a package and putting Jalen Hurts out there and letting him play, even if it's for a series or a quarter or a half. Okay, it's not about that guy's feelings. It's about doing what's best for the rest of the team.
Well, if that was the case,
because you think the rest of the team.
Right. You're absolutely right. But if that was the case, I don't think that we'd be going through this conversation right now because they'd be in. Because it's already shown that Taysom Hill took his team, and his team won today with the same type of situation. Second-team quarterback, he's a guy that came in on those special packages. But they believe in Taysom Hill. I don't know.
Think about this, man. Baker Mayfield played better than Carson Wentz today. When on earth did we ever think that we'd ever say that? Well, come on, man.
Well, Daniel Jones played better than Carson Wentz last week.
And listen, and I'm gonna tell you when the aha moment was. When he stood at the podium 2 games ago, and they asked him about his decision making, and he says, "I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna keep taking my shots down the field. I'm gonna keep giving my guys opportunities." When he said that, that was the telltale moment for me. He is not gonna change. He is who he is. He believes that he's untouchable. And until Doug sits his ass down, he's going to play like he's untouchable.
Yeah,
and
my
team is going to continue to struggle the way that it does.
My moment was today when he took a sack in the end zone for a 2-point. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Man, there's no way that should have happened, period, point blank. He's a fifth-year guy. He's no longer a rookie. And that was a rookie move to take a sack and give up a safety when you're in the game.
My moment was a year ago, June 2019, when they gave him 4 years at $128 million. What do you think was going to happen?